ain't the only one. I ain't the only one. So I decided to change my life. I went to Anytime Fitness. I got a membership, right? I said, fuck this, I'm gonna make a lifestyle change. I got an email, I've only been there 2 weeks. Email says I'm banned for life. What the fuck is going on? So I go and meet with the manager. I said, why? What did I do? So I had to call my attorney. Apparently, you're not supposed to smell the seats after women are done working out. My name's Derek Nowlin, and that's my time. Y'all be great.
Hello, and welcome. One and all, once again, to the Snide Show. I'm your host, as always, Cornelius Edward Snider, otherwise known as CoryTheCurator. And today, we're talking to a bona fide jack of all trades, a real man's man, a comedian, a podcaster, and a U.S. Army vet. Ladies, gents, and everyone in between, give it up for Derek Nowlin.
Thank you for having me, brother. I really appreciate it. How y'all doing out there? This is Snide Studios.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So thanks again for coming on. More importantly, thank you for your service, sir. You kept the nation safe while spineless slackers like myself can edit YouTube videos. And honestly, you might be the manliest man that has ever graced the Snide Show so far, honestly.
Right.
From your raunchy comedy to your professions, you're again just a man's man.
I appreciate that. I feel my ego being boosted already since I've been here. So that's amazing. Thank you for saying that as well.
Thank you.
It's been a journey for sure.
Yeah. So before we tap into that deep well of your life, let's kick it off with a little slice of life.
Alrighty.
Anything zany or bizarre happened to you this week? Spill, what's the haps? Anything too weird for your show that you bring on here?
This week has been pretty fast paced. I was trying to go through and figure out some upcoming shows that I have, comedy shows and things like that. And I've actually transitioned from doing more actual dedicated comedy sets to hosting. So I've been hosting several shows that I really, really enjoy. Shout out Rob Thacker and Logan Mills. We have the Commotion Live show, variety show that's continuing to ramp up. I host that show. I hosted a veterans show at Blue Ridge Comedy Club. Shout out to Sean Carter. And that was amazing. So I'm really feeling free when I host shows as opposed to necessarily being one of the comedians on the card. Hosting allows me to just be, y'all know I say crazy stuff. Hosting allows me to just be that way the whole time. And it allows me to kind of piggyback off of the other comedians and figure out what direction they may be going, and I just create more material on the spot.
Yeah. I could see that for sure. Between the alpha vibes and your propensity to just play around on stage and stuff, I could see that. And you'd be great for transitioning, carrying from one set to the next, one comic to the next. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a great niche and definitely needed. Not everyone can do it.
Right.
Not everyone can do it.
Right. I figured out that I was nervous to host at first because I felt like, I'm responsible for keeping that energy high, keeping the crowd going. Somebody's not paying attention, checking them right quick. Yeah. And it's funny to do that because I always have a joke when I go different places. I say, no one knew that I was coming here to perform. Everyone kept showing me their IDs. Because they think I work here.
Oh, shit, they thought you were a bouncer. I could see that. They thought you were a bouncer.
Yeah, they thought I was security.
I might just
yeah.
You're like, okay, thanks.
Yeah, sometimes, funny story, sometimes when I go out, I have a security shirt that just says security, and I'll wear it, and I'll wear a black hat, and I can just walk into places. Nobody even says anything. They don't check me. They don't charge me.
Yeah.
And I just walk around. You know, it's funny. I've done it.
I don't know if
before.
you have an LLC yet, but that would be great for your LLC. Just security.
Security. Yeah. Thank you, man. I'm gonna try. Yeah.
And that way, you know, you can just wear that anywhere.
I can wear it anywhere.
No, it's my company.
This is my company. I own the company. Security LLC. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty
so
crazy. I'm
good.
trying to think of something, man, that you said crazy that happened this week or kind of wonky. I would say I got totally scared last night driving through Fairlawn. Whoever you were, there was some teenagers in some clown outfits.
Oh fuck, that's happening again.
That's happening again, and everybody knows I'm the biggest punk when it comes to horror, being scared, watching scary movies. I'll fight a dragon before I do anything concerning horror movies, you know. So these kids were coming across the Bradford Bridge, and they got on the side where you're coming like into Fairlawn near Roca's. So they're like running across the parking lot, and all of a sudden I'm kind of driving slow, but they all turn and start running towards the road. And when I say that I screamed inside of my car, they couldn't physically touch me, but I was screaming inside my car, and I just blew that thing out, man. I was just out of there, you know. I don't want no parts of whatever they had going on, you know.
Yeah, their aura was enough to just throw you out.
Yeah, clown mask and stuff. Yeah,
God.
I'm good.
Yeah. That's freaky. I mean, I don't have like a phobia with all that, but that would still scare me. That's scary.
In today's times, you know, you don't know what's going to happen, you know. So, but I'm sure that they were just out enjoying themselves, trick-or-treating. Everybody be safe tonight as well.
Yeah.
When you're going out there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that makes me feel better because my own week has proven my spine weak again. A real twist, but not the M. Night Shyamalan kind. Like, I need to stop with this yoga at home with YouTube kind. No, seriously, I'm not just talking about the plot twists in the films I wish I was making. I'm talking about actual my physical spine. I'm one twist away from turning into a pretzel, man.
Oh man,
I've broken it again playing Twister with my pets. It's practically sending out SOS signals at this point. See, I keep doing this thing where I attempt to pet my animals by craning my back again. It is the second time this has happened.
Yeah.
Fucking Christmas a couple years ago, I've talked about it on here. I popped it out. I dislodged my fucking disc, you know, down in my lumbar, and it keeps popping back out. I keep tweaking it, doing just the stupidest little stuff. And I mean, again, I do yoga by the daily, and I'm hiking weekly. I'm not like fucking atrophying or anything.
Right.
It's just, and I'm doing all that. You know, I can carry a backpack for a few miles, but you know, just bending over, like craning, man. It's fucking. I don't know what it is, man. And, you know, it's like I'm living in a circus routine here, man. You've seen me skulking around here. Like fucking Nosferatu meets the Hunchback.
Right.
Notre Dame. And,
I felt bad, man, because I was like, should I be doing something? I felt bad. Like, I should be doing something right now. This man has a bulging or disc and pain and neuro and all this stuff going on. And not neuro, but nerve. Pain.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, and people don't realize until you have that type of injury, it limits you so much, you know. And you have animals to care for. You got things that you have to do and pick up. But yoga, let's give it up for, you know, him doing yoga every day though, because that I'm not flexible at all. You know,
and I'm not even doing the complex.
The
shit.
complex.
I'm not doing the Tai Chi shit.
You're doing the basic stuff.
I'm just doing like, you know, cat cow. You know, I went to physical therapy. They're like, you need to do more cat cows. I'm like, I'm cat cowing all fucking day, man. I'm like a fucking like I don't know what more.
Yeah,
to do.
I'm cat cowing all damn day. Yeah, yeah. No, that's
over the moon over here.
I was told the older we get, weight training, which I do weight train, but my mobility. Hip mobility, you know, stretching, that stuff. I don't do that stuff. I actually bought a damn mat, right, off Amazon. And it's purple, okay? Like, it's a purple mat, okay? And it's still rolled up in the corner by my bed because I tell myself every morning, I'm not going to touch my phone. I'm going to get up and I'm going to stretch before work. And you know how many consistent days I've done that? Zero. So
if I didn't work from home, I probably would.
right,
Do it,
so shout
I
out to
just
you
have
for
no
being
experience. Well,
consistent.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's obviously not helping. It's
Right.
obviously not
It's not helping. I do it every day, but it's not
I'm
helping.
going to try swimming soon. I'm going to try, taking that pressure off because I don't know if it's the vertical shit or what. Man.
Yeah.
But it's killing me, dude.
Swimming's very beneficial, so I heard. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta give it a try. But man, yeah. So let's dive headfirst into the hot scoop espresso. Your comedic roots, Derek, are firmly planted in army boots.
Right.
How did you first step onto the stand-up stage?
That's a great question. About a year and a half ago, myself, my sister, and her best friend, and my friend DJ, we actually went to South Carolina for a quick weekend trip to go to the beach. There was a brewery down there, and I forget the name of the brewery, but we went out that one night. My sister saw that they had a open mic sign-up sheet.
Wow.
Right? They had 20 spots. And this brewery was huge.
Yeah.
And it was starting to fill up, really nice place. And I told her, absolutely not.
What?
Like, I'm not doing it. She said, you'll be fine. She said, we've gone to this place before. She was like, and you get that secondhand embarrassment if the person's not funny, because you feel obligated to laugh. She's like, Derek, you've been telling jokes your entire life. And I want to segue on that because I literally have been running material off of people my entire life.
Right. It's
Scenarios, stories, just to see if they laugh like I do, right? Because I probably look crazy. Whatever agent's following me on my iPhone, and they look at me, I'll be sitting in my living room and just bust out laughing all of a sudden because I've thought about something, right? So my sister said, listen, if you bomb, who cares? We're in another state. You don't ever have to come here again, right?
Yeah.
So she signed me up, right? And I wound up going 5th. And I'm like, gosh, that's early. That's out the gate. So I'm looking through my phone, and I put together a quick set list of some jokes I had in there for a long time.
You've already been...
I'd already had them in there, right? And my sister, to this day, shout out to Morgan, she says that is still her all-time favorite set that I've ever done.
Whoa.
I was so nervous, I felt the little pee come out, when I was up there. Not a lot. I didn't pee on them, but just the dribble came out, So, and if you go back, and I'll show you the video, if you go back and look at it, I look very comfortable, like I'd done it before. And my sister said, this is your calling. You were meant to do this, right? And like we talked before, anything that you are meant to do or get close to, you're going to feel the most resistance out of anything that you've ever done, right? Because that's the path that you're supposed to be on. Anything that comes very easy, either one, it's something that you're not challenging yourself on, or two, it's a path that, whatever your belief system is, that the universe or the enemy doesn't mind you being on because you're not walking in your purpose, right?
Oh, interesting.
So I felt like after that performance in South Carolina, I waited a couple months, and then I started performing. I reached out. Actually, someone got in contact with Robbie Hockett, shout out to him, at Bull and Bones and Blacksburg, and I started doing some of their comedy nights there. And within this year and a half, it's really grown from performing everywhere here local. I've performed in Asheville. I performed in Knoxville. I performed a lot in Bristol, Johnson City, Charlotte. So now we're just expanding a little bit.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And so many of the things that you have to say throughout that are just validating.
Right.
First of all, from I've thought about that too. The agent listening to me, practicing voices all day. By myself, I'm practicing voices and weird little things to say. And
don't stop that, okay? Because I'm telling you, even though, hey, they may think it's weird, but I'm telling you, man, we're not alone in this. I stand in the mirror, and I'll say this. I stand in the mirror and go through lines that I've written, not jokes, but for movies, right? That's my all-time, my all-time goal is to get a role in a movie or a show or a sitcom or write for one.
I could see it.
Right?
I could see it.
So I stand in the mirror and I do one serious one where I'm talking to my son about some decisions he's made, or he's involved in a gang or something crazy like that, and I got to go get him out. You know, this old fat veteran goes and gets his son out of this gang. You know, gears are turning. Yeah. So and then I do one where I'm trying to be like, talk to this girl at a bar and be real seductive, and I crack myself up because I'm like, that wasn't good. So don't stop doing these voices, because I realize there are so many you told me there are so many different avenues with this. Mm-hmm. You could wind up doing voiceovers for Disney. Yep. You could wind up doing voiceovers. I've seen some people, one guy I saw, he's done 50 different characters. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that is insane to me. Yeah. And these are all characters we love, Mm-hmm. And
like Tom Kenny.
Stuff like that. So I would say, even though the agents are watching us and they're like, goodness gracious, what's wrong with this guy? Especially if he's watching me around 11:30 to midnight. You already know. Yeah.
Delirium.
Yeah. Dropping the phone on my face,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So many times.
Yeah. I'm up watching the theories of the outlying lands in Asgard outside of Antarctica, and why we can't go there.
Yeah, the ice wall.
The ice wall, and there's mammoths on the other side. So,
I love that shit.
Yeah, man. So that's what I'm doing.
I gotta have you back on for an info scat.
Yeah, we'll do the whole show about that. Yeah.
As a fellow local native, Derek, have any hometown shenanigans made their way into your routines yet?
Absolutely. I talk about in some of my routines some things that were very natural, very like a day-to-day lifestyle, especially growing up with my mom. She had a way of disciplining us that wasn't necessarily physical, but like it was effective, Mm-hmm. So I tell a joke about one day, of course I played football at Christiansburg, and one day I had taken some of my pads home with me because I needed to wash them. You know how it gets. They were just getting so bad, 2-a-days, and my pads just need to be washed at home. And I remember I had a little net bag. I set it in the back seat, and I forgot to take them out when we got home. Mm-hmm. So the next morning, my mom left for work at like 4 a.m. She goes to open her car. And she got so mad. Let me tell you, I'm dead asleep in my bed. This is like 4 a.m. My mom came in my room, cut the light on with a belt, and beat me because her car smelled so bad.
I don't know how much I can say I can blame her.
Right,
that's a rude awakening.
That's a rude awakening. Nobody wants to drive 30 minutes to work.
Feet and ass,
sweat, blood, everything that was on those pads, No. She was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm trying to pull the comforter over to like cushion the hit, cushion the hits or whatever.
Poor Derek, man.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
I feel bad for you, Derek. I feel bad.
But some of the stuff that is known to us about some of the jokes I tell about playing football in Christiansburg and getting smashed by Pulaski and Salem and Blacksburg back in the day. Yeah. The guys like Sam Wheeler and Derek Burks, Justin Lewis, some of these guys that were D1 athletes, in high school. And, I tell some stuff about that and some of the folklore just surrounding Christiansburg, the middle school with the Black Sisters and, just going to McAdoo's on Monday nights and Young Life and stuff like that. So a lot of this stuff that is near and dear to my heart, kind of makes its way into some of my writing. And what I've really started to do is embrace the fact that I'm not in the military anymore. Mm-hmm. And when I got out, I went to college and I ate pizza at 1 o'clock in the morning. So, I looked in the mirror one day, I'm like, oh my God, I done picked up 80 pounds, right? So instead, and I'll say this because this is a vulnerable point, that almost prevented me from filming. Because I knew once I got on camera, the people that hadn't seen me in a while, the only thing they remembered was, oh, Derek was a soldier. He was in Afghanistan, stuff like that. He don't look like that now, right? But life changes, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm saying you should be healthy, but what I'm trying to tell people is don't let your current situation prevent you from doing something that you want, right? Mm-hmm. So I had to get over that hurdle of accepting myself for where I am right now to be able to film. And to be able to present myself in front of people.
That's strength, man.
So instead of letting it bother me, I make fun of myself. So if anybody watches my stand-up, I'm talking about the issues with a big guy's face and what it's like to have sex and make out as a big guy, what it's like to do normal day tasks that just make it difficult. So,
Yeah, and that again, just so validating, very validating, and and again, I think more people need to learn from that because that's a big part of comedy. Again, going back to our talks is coping and
Yes.
and figuring things out, that finding lines, finding boundaries, finding truth, finding not truth.
Not truth.
Sometimes.
Not truth. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of sauce on it, like just to make the joke go over a little bit better.
Sauce.
Not too much sauce. Get that Future reference right there. Too much sauce. Yeah. My man. Yeah. So, it's one of those things where it really allows me to tell my truth and I don't feel embarrassed to do it because there's somebody relating to what I'm saying and nobody frowns upon it. They're actually, when you talk about yourself in front of people and you're being kind of really open, they really enjoy that because where else can you be that honest?
It's the whole point of it.
It's the whole point.
It's the whole point of
It's
it.
the whole point of it. This stage is the transparent space.
Yeah, you want to talk about safe spaces? That's the place where it should be safe to say.
Should be safe to say what we want. And if anything, comedy has given me that lane to tap into some of my insecurities, to tap into my creative side, and to tap into really I love seeing people laugh and have a good time. At the end of the day, that's why we do it.
Yes. It's the most powerful drug.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
From serving in the military to serving punchlines, from hometown to hero to humorist, you've spoken a lot of your journey. Your comedy arsenal is lethal, but I can't help but be curious. You talked about this a lot already, but let's see. Do you ever consider working it into your art? Because you've done a lot of I feel like you said distancing from that persona, but going kind of changing up this question a little bit because you did cover a lot of this, but stepping away from stand up to the other things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Do you ever consider working that into any other comedy?
I do. I have kind of tailored a little bit of the stuff I say about. I had some stuff about work, right? But I was scared to mention some of those things, because I don't know how that would work. I actually incorporate, and I want to incorporate more of my military experiences into my comedy.
Right.
Because some of my best and worst days were with some of those guys overseas. Some of my best laughs and things that we experienced were with those guys. And in a weird way, and I think a lot of vets can speak to this. And yeah.
Cancel timers. Set a timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, counting down.
All right. So, the last thing I actually picked up was you were talking about missing the suck.
Missing the suck, yeah.
So actually, we'll run. Let me run this question back.
Yeah.
If you have to repeat yourself, that's totally
okay.
fine.
No problem.
So while the military is a big part of your life and identity, you do also distance yourself from that scene in your raunchy comedy. Do you ever consider working it into your art, though? How does staring through the scope compare to staring into a tough crowd? How does the battlefield compare to the stage? Are you killing them softly either way, or are they totally different worlds to you?
That's a great question. In a way, I felt like I was physically stronger in the military. Now, could that be because of the conditioning we had or just I was younger, right? As I'm approaching 40 now, So the military was tough, but we always knew what we were doing. We always knew what uniform to be in, what time to be there, and what we were doing when we got there. So there were no surprises. Right? I've always been comfortable with speaking to groups, being a leader in the army or leading soldiers or putting on certain presentations. Comedy, though, my anxiety's so high before I take the stage that my stomach's in knots. And anybody that knows me, they know I don't even eat, and I love to eat. I don't even eat before I go on stage.
I am shocked to hear you.
Yes,
say all
I swear, this is all true. My stomach does flips, and anywhere I go, you'll see me. I'll get a Sprite or a ginger ale, and I'll pound it right before I get on stage. As I'm grabbing the mic to introduce myself, everything goes away, and I get into a zone.
Yeah.
And it's like I only see 6 people out of the 90 people that are there.
Right.
Now, I'm trying to talk to everybody, but I focus on 6 people that may have a light expression on their face, or they may be vibing well with my material, or they're just giving me good nonverbal feedback, right?
Yeah.
So the military was tough in some of the stuff I had to do and I had to see, and some days were very, very depressing, and I missed home, and I just didn't want to be in that situation. I didn't have a choice then. So now I feel like I'm going to battle, but I'm doing it myself. I'm forcing myself to go do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And every time you get on that stage, and I know a lot of comedians can probably speak to this, you want to do the very best you can. You don't want to miss any lines. You want things, to transition smoothly. And like you said, looking down that scope, I'm looking through the scope, and it's an audience now.
Wow.
And I feel like they are hanging on to every word, it being kind of not judgmental, but they want to be entertained. And that gives me the biggest fear, anxiety, like they say, the frog in your throat out of anything I've ever done. So, I try to transition some of my experiences to tell people about it. And on a podcast show that we did on Steak and Sauce, I tried to open up about my military experience and because a lot of people ask me, because we pulled out of Afghanistan and Iraq as a whole, do you feel like that was the right thing to do? And I always tell people, we pushed and pushed to acquire a lot of space, a lot of area and terrain to kind of govern it. And now that we've pulled out, that has gone back to being controlled by the Taliban, whoever, So if we did have to insert ourselves back into those situations, we would have a lot of ground to redo and to things to, to do again because we let it go. So I think I have more patience and I have more confidence now than when I was in the Army, because I don't know if I could have got on stage and did stand up when I was younger.
All things happen in due time.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. That's so much to chew on there.
Yeah.
So you've acquired a range of skills over the years, from human intelligence to management. Like I said, you're a jack of all trades. And I can really see the human intelligence skill at work in your humor, honestly. Which is easier? Or actually, let me rephrase that. I meant to rephrase this. How do you see your skills at work in your craft?
Okay. You did some research, the human intel part. Yeah. So that was one of my jobs in the military. I was an interrogator up under, they call it, human intelligence. And we worked with, counterintelligence groups, PSYOPs, Rangers. I worked with them all. So
That's exciting.
I did some very cool guy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's almost like I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Now looking back on it.
That's what I was saying, like different worlds.
Different worlds, because if you ask me now, hey, Derek, let's load up our gear, go get your rifle, get your sidearm. We're going to pack out for 3 days, and we're going to go in this hostile territory. I'm going to tell you, go get fucked. Excuse my language. Oh, sorry.
No,
like,
the place for that.
I'm not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm scared of that stuff now,
Yeah.
I have a different understanding and respect for the stuff that I did, but I just don't want to put, that's, I think that one of the things that helps me out the most from learning when I was an interrogator and just human intelligence, well, 2 things. One is reading people.
That's what I was talking
right?
about.
Which I think I do pretty good. Nonverbal communication for sure.
Cool, cool.
And my ability to have a photographic memory.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that.
Which comes in handy, especially for comedy, right?
Yeah.
If you give me a paper and I look at it long enough, I can see the paper and that text in my head.
Cool.
Right?
Cool. Yeah.
Which helped me out in school too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do my due diligence and study throughout the week. I would just cram in one time, and I get that from my mom. But in comedy, people know we're rehearsing in your house. You're walking around telling your jokes. And what I've done, and this may help someone, instead of trying to chunk entire jokes or a story, because my jokes, if you really break it down, it's one big story.
Right.
Right. The jokes fall into each other, but instead of trying to remember every word, what I've been doing now is I write down one word.
Right.
That one word prompts the story that I need to tell. Right? So instead of trying to remember paragraphs, let's say I have a joke about losing weight. It'll say weight loss. If I have a joke about going to this deli, it would say deli meats.
Right.
So now I'm walking around my house and I'm saying weight loss, deli meats. And then I give the joke and I say it. There's no one there. It's just me in my house, But I'm doing this and so the reason I'll jump back, typewriter. The reason why that helped me is because when I was in school, I was out in Arizona for a year training to become an interrogator.
Wow.
Right? And I went through a course called SOC. It's called Source Operations Course, right? Out in the desert. And the DIA administered this course, and it has a 75% attrition rate. So 75% of the people that go through this course will not make it. But my picture is up in this schoolhouse in Arizona forever because I passed it, and it wasn't easy, right? Shout out to that.
That's awesome.
Little shameless plug. But what they taught me is to come into a room. We would have to scan the room very quickly. Then they would ask us 3 tables away from you, what color shirt did the guy have on?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Where were the exits? And we would have to draw all this out from memory, right? What streets were adjacent to this facility? Where was the stoplight? Where was the parking lot? Wow. So they taught us how to take all this in very fast. And I know that sounds crazy. Okay, Derek, from, doing kind of a recon on a building to doing comedy. But I do that before the crowd gets there. I'm on stage. I'm pacing back and forth. Hey, how do I want to move up here? I'm looking at how far the crowd's going to be so I can scan and talk to everybody.
Wow.
I've got my set memorized so that my jokes flow well, right? Because it's just me and the mic. Yeah. And I'm telling you guys a story. I have to put the energy in and make you believe that I used to hump couches. You know what I'm saying?
I'm that serious.
Yeah, just cut. Yeah, that's what right. Yeah, like they say, Derek will be talking about God one minute and he's talking about 69 the next. I'm human, so I have to. If I tell you a joke tonight, and you follow me to the next city the next night, there may be a few words that are different when I'm telling that joke.
Yeah,
but I have to make you feel the same way tonight as last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So what I'm trying to say is all of the training and stuff that I've had, I really feel like it's trained my mind and my memory, and watching people's nonverbal communication, body language, the way I deliver a joke, the way I look at people, my body language, my facial expressions. I feel like that's all helped me.
That's amazing. That's so cool. And I expected some of that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I do a deep dive on my guests, and one of the first things that came up was LinkedIn. I just took a little peek, and I thought, I didn't even know that exactly that's what human intelligence means, but that, I could definitely see that. That's amazing.
I think they title it that way because we encompass a lot more than just the interrogation side.
Yeah, I knew it was like some spycraft type stuff, but I wasn't sure exactly.
That job, it's in the 35 series. So you got 35 Mike, 35 Lima, 35. All those 35 series have something to do with military intelligence. And intelligence drives the battlefield, right?
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just from like, Vice and like movies and stuff.
Right.
I've heard of a bit of that stuff. That's
You're making me think back now, man. Like, I've done some cool stuff.
yeah,
Because,
man.
Really
Cool. It's really cool.
I mean, talking to you can kind of get away from it. Like I say, this all comes back to remembering who you are and what you've done to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so on that note though, have you ever had like an oh shit moment, like where you nearly lost track of something? Like, I mean, I don't want you to like give away anything you can't, but like in that field of work, did you ever have like an oh shit moment?
Oh yeah. Several. There were moments where you get this eerie feeling when you're on a mission, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like, they say our bodies are made of so much electricity. Your hairs, everything on you will feel a certain type of way when something's going. Kind of like if y'all did paranormal research, right? You feel weird.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of moments where I would feel that. All right, I'll tell you this. I was in Iraq in 2005. When I was a younger soldier, I was a 50 cal gunner up on the turret, right?
Cool.
One time I got tasked to go and be the security escort for the local nationals that were going out and pumping water, gray water, for us to shower with, potable water, and bring it back on the base, right? Yeah. They had to be escorted.
Yeah.
It was a hot day in Iraq. I'm fully geared up, kitted up, I'm baking, right? I fell asleep in my truck. Now I can admit this, okay? And now if any soldier you ask they've ever fallen asleep on duty or have they ever nodded off and they tell you no, they're a damn lie, right? They're a liar. They just don't want to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my weapon at the low ready across my chest, and I kind of leaned my chin on the buttstock of my rifle. And after a few seconds, you're out, right? Because I'm hot, I'm hungry. Exhausted, right? I woke up after what felt like hours. There were 30 local nationals standing outside my truck looking at me. When I tell you I couldn't get my weapon up fast enough, because I thought, hey, I'm about to make the news. I didn't know what they were going to do with me, So in that moment, I'm spazzing and I'm trying to get my weapon up. Now, there was another guy that was with me. He was on the other side of the truck in his truck. Normally, we don't leave with any less than 4 trucks, and you might have, you got your driver, your TC, your gunner, and a passenger. We always left one seat open in case we had a casualty.
Whoa.
That's the thing you do. You leave one seat open so that we can get people aided back into a truck to get them, unless they had to be a medevac, 9-line medevac or something.
Okay.
So at this time, I had a little 2-door Humvee up armored. My buddy was driving one too. Mm. We weren't going that far off base. And I was trying to get my weapon up from around the steering wheel and out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking, and there's so many military age males just standing around my vehicle. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm like getting it up so I can and I slide out the door. And the guy that had the other water truck, he said, put his hand over his heart. He said, hey, what's up? Looking at me. And I'm breathing hard and I'm looking around. He goes, and the rest of them were like, you okay?
What's up?
They're looking at me crazy. They're like, what is he doing, right?
Yeah.
I thought I was about to, be in a bad situation, but they were such good guys. They were like, we saw you. It's like sleep. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, Lord, thank you. That was one of the scariest moments that I ever had where I, hey.
No, she's over here
where I had fallen asleep. Another moment in, oh shit moment dealing with the intel side. I was on a base doing a mission. Long story short, we were only there for a couple of hours to refit the soldiers that were there. We brought some more ammo, some more food and stuff like that, and we were going to make our movement back. I think we were doing like a 3-click movement on foot. Wasn't that far. Mm-hmm. We got intel when we were at this little fire base that we were about to be attacked by 60 plus fighters. I'll say fighters, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They told us to man the wall. Now, I've never been more scared in my life, right? So there was a village about 400 to 500 yards away that I could see. We had some guys down in there moving through the village. The fighting started in the village. You can hear it. They're already fighting. We take the wall. They're handing up ammo cans. Everybody's putting all their guns up on the wall. We're digging in for a fight.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be a fight.
Yeah.
My heart is pounding. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm handing up ammo cans. I'm getting them up to my buddies. You know, everybody's getting up. We had these 2x4s that were on top of these Hesco baskets. And we're standing on top of those up on the wall.
Ooh, yeah.
We're looking at the grass. The grass was kind of tall. It was moving. And I could have sworn that I seen some guys crawling through the grass, right? Getting up on us. No sooner than I looked through my scope on my rifle, something told me, I looked down at the village, and I had a pretty powerful scope. I see, you know, in real life, when somebody shoots an RPG, it moves slow enough that you can see it.
Really? Okay.
And the tail of it, you can see this, you know. So the RPG impacted a side of the building in the village. Boom. Out of the other side, the explosion, and I saw somebody just go flying. That's when I knew this was real. This is about to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
So we all get dug in. I'm like, watch the grass, like 200 meters out. Is that something? Tell me.
Yeah.
So everybody's fixated on it, you know, because we're preparing for this big fight. It wound up not being a bunch of guys. It was a few guys that were trying to get a position on us, but the numbers were always inflated. And they would do that for, that's like reverse psyops. Like, let's not say, let's get on the radio and say, hey, I see the Americans, give me 60 guys. Really, they probably have 10. But if they can make their force seem bigger,
wow,
that gets in our heads and we're prepared for a fight. Also, they use asymmetrical warfare, guerrilla warfare. So you take 5 guys and make it seem like 20. So you put 2 guys up here on a machine gun, 1 guy on this ridge line with RPGs, and 2 guys down here on the street level. Yeah. And now you unleash hell, and now you've got 3 different sectors of fire to compete with.
It could be 10 people in each
could be
of those
10.
positions.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
So luckily, and here's the point I'm trying to make. I could talk about this all day, but
it's fascinating.
I was scared because I was about to go on leave. I was coming home for mid-tour leave, and I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
We're about to get attacked, and I'm going home, you know? Feeling selfish, right? So I'm like, Lord, please let me make it out of this. I'm going home, right? We did the village. We sent some guys down to the village. They were able to combat the threat in that village and get that calmed down. No one was hurt from our side. They did not attack our base when we got that report. So we stayed up on that wall. We didn't make the movement till almost nighttime back to our base. We did not get attacked that day fully, but you can imagine what that felt like, you know, being prepared to deal with a force that big, you know?
Yeah.
So that was another big, oh shit, you know, moment. Yeah.
It's fascinating stuff.
And I don't know if I even answered your question.
No, I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But switching gears, fast forward to the podcast Steak and Sauce.
Oh, man.
With your prominent clips on YouTube, Facebook, and TikToks, you're becoming the sirloin of sound bites.
Sirloin? I like that.
What's cooking there?
You know, thank you for that. Steak and Sauce podcast was something that we had came up with the name, and I'll back up there because a lot of people ask me this, why you call it that? It has 2 meanings. One, when I was a kid, I was a chubby little kid before I got in high school, and then I kind of leaned out. But every time my parents would ask me, hey, you hungry? What do you want? Most kids say, let me get macaroni and cheese. Can I get a sandwich? Can I get a Hot Pocket? Happy Meal. I would say, can I have a little steak? You know? And my dad would say, hell no, you ain't getting no damn steak, you know? So it has that meaning, right? The other meaning, it's a dual meaning, steak and sauce. If you watch our show, the steak is the hearty, transparent, the accountability things that we talk about as men.
Yeah.
The sauce is all the ridiculous stuff that I say. You're right? So Steak and Sauce podcast, we want you to walk away with something new and refreshing and maybe something that helps you. but also be entertained at the same time.
I love that. I love that. And I might have heard or picked up on that at a certain point. But yeah, you got the meat and you got the sauce is the yeah. I
You
mean,
know, the entertaining
perfect.
factor, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
the stuff that's like, did he just say that? You know, and I will tell everyone this, we have taken a break from the show currently. We are figuring some things out, equipment, taking a break. I had kind of got overwhelmed, and I know my crew got overwhelmed too. I'm traveling, doing shows. We're filming every week, trying to pump out a show every week.
Mhm.
And shout out to Weston, shout out to Antonio, Preston, everybody that's been on the show and helped us get to this point. Without them, I'm just a guy talking.
Yeah.
Right? You know? So when you put us all together, that's when you create something big.
You got a whole meal there.
You got a whole meal, yeah.
But there's still plenty of content out there that the folks could probably like keep watching and have a good like maybe year
Yes.
at least of if they're listening to.
I
one
think
a
we
day or
got
something.
40 some episodes, so you
Yeah.
have hundreds of watch hours.
And all the clips and stuff.
Yeah.
Any episodes or sound bites you'd consider prime cuts for our audience? Any episodes or guests you'd highlight for our listeners?
Yes. Anyone that wants to dive into Steak and Sauce podcast, there are two. I'll start with episodes first.
Mm-hmm.
There are two episodes that I think that gives you kind of a backstory into us as a group. One is Steak and Sauce, or my origin story. You can look up the title. And the second one would be the episode with my grandmother.
Oh,
That one is near and dear to my heart because I always wanted to have her on there because she's funnier than I am.
that's lovely.
You know, so you can search through, and my grandmother is on an episode, and then go to where it says Derek's origin story. Those are earlier episodes. I'd say that's in between episode 10 and 20.
Okay.
To go look at those. And we've had amazing guests as well. Shout out to Sergio Renner. Shout out to First Sergeant Bobby, and what was his name? Captain Miller, I think. We've had Army guys on there. We've had just a wide variety of people that trusted us enough to come on the show and to produce some content. And that's what we try to do. We try to give different looks.
Yeah.
You know, I would start with those two episodes. If you want to see a very funny character or clips, check out Cowboy Chris. If you type in Cowboy Chris anywhere, it'll pull up. You can check out Cowboy Chris on my TikTok. It's just Derek Nowlin. You can see it on there. We didn't know what that character would do, but that has been our highest producing content clip.
Yeah.
Is Cowboy Chris.
Yeah. That's one of the clips I always think of.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite cut of steak? What sauce do you like to dip your steak in? And what fixins on the side? If you had to pick two fixins on the side with that steak.
Now you're talking. You don't keep a figure like this by not knowing the type of steak that you like, right? So I will say this.
Oh, sorry. Terrible place to, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll jump right back to it. That's a good question.
Thanks.
Dude, I love these questions, man. This is awesome.
You.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I do.
These questions are so creative, and they get you thinking.
Build me your perfect steak dinner.
Okay. Now, I will say this. I cook a mean steak myself at home. But one of the places that I love to go to is Frankie Rollins in Roanoke. And if you haven't been to Frankie Rollins, you're getting that same atmosphere, quality of steak, the quality of service that you would get at a Ruth's Chris.
Okay.
But just more local, a little bit less pricey.
Okay.
My favorite cut of steak is a New York strip. Medium, right? A little bit of pink. Okay. I don't like too much rare. If you do, that's on you. Those steaks, the way they age them, you don't need any sauce. But if I do put some sauce on a steak, I like to create this. It's a ketchup, Heinz 57, a little bit of lemon juice, and a dabble of A1. and you mix that up, and it is the tangiest, zestiest.
Oh,
It's amazing,
that just
right?
made my mouth water.
Yes,
right?
yes,
That just
yes,
made my
yes.
mouth water.
It's delicious. So I get the New York strip, cooked medium, and it's about an inch thick. I mean, I know people like ribeye because it has more fat. They say it's more flavorful. And of course, if you get a T-bone, one side's a ribeye, the other side of the bone is the New York strip, right?
Okay.
So you got two steaks right there together on a T-bone, right?
Mhm,
Just depends on which one you want. I've also had a tomahawk steak. Have you seen those?
I've heard of that.
Yes.
What's
So the tomahawk, I don't know exactly what cut or what part it comes from, but there's a huge dinosaur bone attached to this steak. The tomahawk steak, you can literally lift that bone up and commit a murder with the and the steak is so thick. Now the problem is because they don't want to overcook it, there's only one or two ways you can get that steak, and it's usually a little bit too rare for my taste.
Okay.
Maybe not for other people, but New York strip on the side, I got to have some creamy spinach.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
And I also like some potatoes, whether they are scalloped, baked potato, the small little purple potatoes.
Roasted,
Little roasted ones with some onions and stuff. It doesn't quite matter. I'll take steak fries if you got them. But that combination of steak, I would even go to say steak, some type of potato, either creamy spinach or Brussels sprouts.
Yeah,
I love Brussels sprouts.
Oh, yeah?
I had some bacon honey wrapped Brussels sprouts.
Ooh.
Speaking like a true fat guy, right? These things, now, it wasn't healthy anymore because they're wrapped in bacon and honey, right? But I would eat them seared as well. And seared Brussels sprouts in a little bit of a balsamic vinaigrette tossed around. Now you're making me hungry. I'm gonna eat a steak tonight too. Yeah. So that's my choice of steak, the cut, the sides, and I would pair that with either a wine or I'm pretty simple. I can drink lemonade any time of the day.
Ooh,
So yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
To wash that down.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. I've made myself hungry now too.
Right. Yeah.
Would you rather combat a single horse-sized duck or a fleet of duck-sized horses?
Dang, that is, you know what? When you said a horse-sized duck, that is scary.
That's terrifying.
You may die. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, because
now,
they eat bugs and stuff. They might just
they will
take
pick
a bite out of you.
I've seen what. I'm sorry, I get loud. I'm sorry. Have you seen what are those things called? Ostriches?
Yeah. They're scary. That is kind of a horse size.
They will jack you up.
Yeah.
And those their feet have those talons on them.
Yeah.
And they will kick and rip you open, almost like a daggone raptor. So I would say now, let me ask you this: do I have access to my weapons? Or is this just me out in your front yard?
This is just you,
in
man.
my bare hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bare hands.
I'm going to take the horse-sized ducks. Was that the other
no, the duck-sized horses.
Duck-sized horses.
A bunch of
duck-sized horses. Yes, because I feel like then I could just football punt.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
But one ostrich and me in your front yard.
Let me say with the horse-sized duck, I'll let you can bring a gun. You can bring a gun.
Oh, I'm taking the horse-sized duck. Then.
Yeah.
If I gotta, I'll put him down.
And we're bringing the sauce.
Yeah, we're bringing the sauce too. I'll put him down. You know what I'm saying? Accurate form, punch out, go to work. I'll put him down. You get the sauce. We'll cook him up. Yeah.
I'm there for it. So, what's your jam? What's your karaoke go-to?
Ooh, I'm glad you asked this. I don't think I can live without music. And anybody that knows me, I am a walking jukebox.
Yeah?
I know word for word, genres, some of the craziest music. Now, I'm sure you may know some stuff I may not know, but I would say that my go-to jam is I just wrote this on a card. The Middle by Jimmy Eat World.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah.
Yep.
That's an awesome throwback.
I
That's an
love
awesome
Jimmy Eat
throwback.
World to this day.
Same, yeah.
I would say my heart is planted in 90s and early 2000s alternative. Love it, right? Still listening to like Three Doors Down and
Linkin Park.
Good
Charlotte.
Yeah, and who was that group that song Jumper?
Oh.
I wish you would step back from that ledge.
Is that Creed? Is that Creed?
I'm trying to think who that is.
Who did that song Jumper?
Here's what I find.
Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
I love Third Eye Blind.
Let me see my timers.
Hootie and the
There are no
Blowfish.
timers set.
Uh-oh.
Right. Uh-oh. But yeah, I would definitely say Jimmy Eat World is a go-to. And surprisingly, most of the DJs that do the karaoke stuff, they have it.
Yeah.
They load that song up, but I have to be a little tipsy to get up there. And
I feel you. I'm the same way. I love a good karaoke, but it's like I was saying on one of my last episodes, this is becoming like a go-to question. My picks aren't usually the ones, especially if I am tipsy, that are going to get everyone in a good mood. They're usually like
closing time.
Yeah. Who hurt him?
Yeah.
Who hurt that boy?
He's expressing himself. Yes.
Mad.
Might make you, what they say, music makes you forget or remember everything.
Yeah. I
yeah.
feel everything. And going back to what you were saying about like human intelligence and stuff, because there was a time in my life where I probably could have taken like a similar track of like law enforcement or something like that, because I've always been and it goes back to like my imagination and writing and stuff, but I love thinking about things differently, wondering how other people think about things and stepping outside of my comfort zone and wearing a different hat for a little bit. I love people watching, stuff like that, getting to know people.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. Music is a great way of doing that. Like I listen to some music where it's music I have no business listening to. I listen to like trap house shit and gangster shit that just and I feel what those people that made the song were feeling, and it's weird.
Doesn't it put you in a different state though? Don't you feel kind of like, on a normal day I might be going to Kroger, but when I listen to some trap shit, like we sell drugs and shoot guns, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even though we don't do that, we don't do that. No. But when you get in a certain mindset, it makes you feel like that. Or if you listen to Good Charlotte, Lifestyle, the Rich and the Famous, it may put you back in a moment in high school where you're like, man, I miss those days. Yeah. So I feel like music is very mood pulling. If I listen to some trap shit in my car, you can't tell me I'm not Gucci Man or or Jeezy or something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I'm on a mission right now.
I'm on a mission.
I've got a trunk full of drugs.
I can't get stopped. I got switches on my Glocks. I got choppers. I got some Perk 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Rose crayons.
I got everything. We're moving, right? Like no extra stops. Yes, I feel you.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
And, my girlfriend used to not really get it, and I had to at a certain point and put it to her like this, because she likes metal,
Metal's good.
And I'm like, and I like metal and stuff, but I had to put it to her like that, like, you guys are making those songs, they don't really think they're demons or monsters.
No, right, yeah.
But it's the same thing with like a lot of rap music. You're putting yourself like in a movie of the mind.
Yes.
You're putting yourself in a different world, for a little bit.
And I think a lot of those guys, they pull off of things that they have seen or witnessed. Not necessarily saying that all those guys are big time drug lords, because big time drug lords don't rap about being big time.
That's the thing, right? They're hiding in the suburbs.
You'll never know who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why they stay the way that they are, because, these guys are, can I say something right quick?
Please.
Rick Ross, I love him. He had an album called Mastermind. And there's this guy named Napoleon something that has this real iconic voice that says, you can literally be whoever you want to be, and you don't have to create your own lane. You can literally take the blueprint of somebody else that's done it, mirror yourself to that, and you will literally become that to other people.
Fascinating.
Because they believe people in a certain status level. Right. We don't question anything in Hollywood. We don't question actors. We look at them like, oh my gosh, but they're the same as us.
Yeah.
So, you believe that Denzel's a badass in Training Day.
Right.
Because he makes it believable.
Yeah.
But I know Denzel's in real life. You know what I'm saying? I know some badass dudes in real life.
Fascinating.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think these artists, music, metal guys, hip hop, they pull influences. Some of them maybe grew up rough, lived that lifestyle, lived a certain thing. But I think it's the energy and what they feel that gets them to deliver that type of, And Rick Ross, even in that album Mastermind, he got his name from a guy,
Freeway, right?
Yeah. That really did.
That's the thing, right? And Rick Ross, some of his detractors would point out, like, he was kind of copping from, like, people he was probably watching in prison.
In prison, yes. And how smart do you have to be to take that? He's a genius.
I'm with you where that is a skill of itself.
It's a skill,
the
man.
Kardashians, all that shit, that fake it till you make it shit.
It's a skill.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's acting, it's posturing, human intelligence.
Watching people, mimicking them.
Yeah.
Rick Ross creates not just music, he creates stories. If you listen to his music.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't heard him get on a beat that it just doesn't flow. I mean, he has this cadence, he has this. Yeah. And even if he's never done any of the things he talks about, there are so many songs that you can hear his pain or you can relate to or put you in a better mood. And I just think, like, and I'll say this. You know how people say, we can change tomorrow? If you wake up tomorrow and you can say, hey, I don't want to do any of those things that I used to do. I want to be a new person. There's no one that can tell you that tomorrow you're not a new person. The only struggle we're going to have is what's within ourselves. So if I say, hey, in relationships, it really makes me nauseous to not be able to sit down and talk about problems. I don't want to argue. I want to sit down and talk about it, right?
Same way.
Sit down and talk about it. Let's just talk. I don't like confrontation when people get in my personal space.
Same.
I don't like that. I'll turn my head. Maybe it's a beta move, but I'm turning my head because I don't like that face-to-face type. And I feel more comfortable to look away or just ask somebody to give me space.
Right.
I think that we hold ourselves up from advancement more than anything. So if somebody says, oh, Rick Ross didn't do that. He did. Listen, he found a way, and people believe it, and it's paying his bills.
You can't tell me that's not success.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think that's a great, man. You've laid down so many lessons throughout this whole thing, and I think that's a great one to leave the hot scoop on.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, but I could go on and on.
Oh,
right. Last night when we got off the phone, I was like, holy shit, we're on the phone for like an hour.
And it didn't feel like it. We really just ran. I felt like we were running through a couple topics and things that we had common ideas and feelings about, and I feel like there's so much material and things that we want to get out to the world and write about. That we just got to keep pushing it, man.
Yeah, we're going to make these movies, man.
We're going to make yes.
But let's start with this skit. Order in the court. All rise or do a squat if you prefer. We're gathered here to address the serious allegations against Derek for smelling the seats at Anytime Fitness. Let's see if we can sniff out the truth here, because it smells mighty fishy in here. Derek, how do you plead?
Not guilty, Your Honor. It was an accident, I swear.
We'll see about that. Our first witness, Tiffany, the exercise guru. Your Honor, I've dedicated my life to optimal lung function and increased cardiovascular strength, and this man is a disgrace to it all. His nose is invading the sacred airspace of our temple of fitness.
I couldn't help it. I was inspecting for sweat residue.
Plausible but dubious. Next witness, George, the hygiene freak. And, this is my hand sanitizer here. I've seen Derek's kind before, sniffing seats like some stray dog. Disgusting, absolutely unhygienic. His nose bound.
I have allergies.
Enough, Toucan Sam. Your defense is as thin as the chamois you should have been using on them salty spots. Last witness, Emily, gym equipment anthropologist. Your Honor, gym seats have a rich history and should not be so disrespectfully sniffed at. Smelling them is an insult to all gym kind.
So this isn't like a personal space thing? I didn't realize gym seats had such a legacy.
In light of this olfactory offense and after careful deliberation, I sentence Derek to 40 hours of scent community service. Sorry. Let me take that again from the top. In light of this olfactory offense and after careful deliberation, I sentence Derek to 40 hours of scent-neutral community service at the gym. Derek, you will be given this device to wear to ensure your behavior.
Oh, no.
Again, this was AI that did this, just so you know.
Oh! I gotta wear that. Oh!
What I love about this one, how does that stop you from smelling? How does that?
Right. I think if you try to inflate your nostrils, maybe it pinches. Because I've seen one of these on a different body part before. Yeah. That's hilarious. 40 hours.
Yeah, 40. It's like a whole work week.
Yeah, golly.
You're gonna here at the gym. You'll be fitted with this device. Case closed.
Where's the justice?
Oh, I'm crying.
Yeah, that's hilarious. He said AI produced this. Yeah. Look at the fear.
I said,
do you see the fear in those in the eyes? Like, oh, let me not breathe at all.
Giving up on.
Yeah, I'd be a mouth breather for 40 hours if they put that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I just put in nose case.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Thanks, man. Thanks. You provided the inspiration.
This script, dude. This shows you're a genius, bro.
Oh, thank you.
This whole segment, these questions, how you wrote this out, bro. You have a talent, and you got to keep doing this, man. I'll work with you on anything you want to work with because
Same.
I feel like we put our heads together, we could write a script, man. Same. That would be
this chemistry is amazing.
Yeah, that would be awesome, bro. Yeah,
dude. Thank you again for coming on, Derek. Remember, if you're in the tri-state area, to look out for this guy right here at Derek Nowlin's next shows. And everyone, check out the Steak and Sauce podcast for a cool cut of reality, hosted by some really fun guys. Derek, let the folks know where to find you, your social medias.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on. This has been the most fun I've had in a while. This guy's a genius. Y'all continue to support him, plug into him, reach out to him if you want to work with him. He's really got something special going on. You can follow me on all social media if you type in my name, Derek Nowlin, Derek, last name Nowlin. Type that in on YouTube. It'll bring up Steak and Sauce Podcast. Or you can type in Steak and Sauce Podcast, the full name. Hit that subscribe button for us. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Derek Nowlin. Also, if you go to Google, which I just recently found out from my buddy here, if you type in my name on Google, it will literally provide you with Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, some of my stand-up routines, some of the characters off TikTok. Yeah. It just encompasses a lot of what I've done right there. So just type in my name on any social media platform, and I'm guaranteed to pop up.
Hell yeah, man. And most importantly, folks, stay snide.
Stay snide. Brother, this is awesome.
Dude.
Yeah, you're right.